must add it to your next Euro trip bucket list because I promise you, you're gonna have the time of your life. Number 2, Beirut, Lebanon.
I guess this is number 1, huh?
Lebanon gets a bad rep in Western media, maybe for political reasons because of where it's located in the world. But I gotta say, Beirut is freaking awesome.
Lebanon!
Wow. It's amazing. You have Mediterranean coast, you have very open-minded, smart people who speak English, French, and Arabic.
Some workout.
Liba, Lebanon.
Nightlife in Beirut is insane. Everyone goes out and parties, has a great time.
It is pool day.
And they've gone through a lot of
We're gonna pool.
like Lebanese people like.
But I just ate, so we're gonna wait like half an hour. Go on the treadmill, just get a little bit of circulation going, and then we should start. We're gonna watch this at the same time, and I'm gonna like maybe build a workout layout or something. Because the layout we have here with the anime TDs, chef's kiss.
It's just the best.
And I'm gonna
South Korea.
want more like more TDs in here.
English for 2 years.
We need more ass and tits.
Korea is so cool because it's underrated.
Ass TDs must be as offensive as possible, but not get banned. That's the goal here.
The tallest tower in Seoul, and we're about to go to the top. How do you feel?
I like it. If you like Korean barbecue,
man, I slept a lot today. Went to bed at like, I don't know,
and if you like to drink with your friends and have a night out on the town,
2 AM or something.
Then Seoul's
A little bit pre, but it was very late for me. I usually just fall asleep at like 12.
Of the entire country of South Korea.
But I was force feeding myself. I made spaghetti bolognese at 1 AM. I ate it, went to bed. Woke up and I felt like a little bit sick because, you know. But it was good, it was good. We got the meal in, so it's fine.
Bukchon Hanok village. You can hike Bukhansan Mountain to get the view of Seoul. You can go to the K-pop district of Hongdae. You can go to the foreigners district of Itaewon or Gangnam, which is like Beverly Hills. The fact of the matter
Didn't
is,
get much work done today, but we did work.
And don't overlook the city.
Did make some money.
This is a cool moment, bro.
So everything is in GG. What we need to do is upload a design.
I like to say that Bangkok is
We're gonna upload 1 design a day at the minimum right now. So I'm gonna work on the one that I started yesterday, and we're almost there. I just need a little bit of tweak.
Really nice apartment in a good
gonna be
place
nice.
in town. If you eat out, all your meals will be between $1 and $3 or $4.
I just took my first bite ever of jungle curry, and I can't even breathe because I can feel the fumes.
Like, yeah, Thailand might be a third world country, but Bangkok is like really modern, really nice, really clean. As you've probably seen before, you have incredible Buddhist temples and shrines and pagodas.
This is Wat Po in Bangkok.
You could take a boat on the river. You have many cool nightlife districts like Ekamai, fancy restaurants. You have Khao San Road, which is the backpacker district, which is pretty cool to visit. You have really upscale restaurants. The food in Thailand is second to none. It might be the best cuisine in the world. Pad Thai, green curry, tom yum goong, mango sticky rice. And it's a perfect location to spend a few days before starting off on your other adventures around Thailand and Asia. Number 5, Chicago, USA. Personally, I think Chicago is the greatest city in America. Chicago is nice, right? Bye-bye. A lot of people are gonna hate on me in the comments here because they like New York is the best city in the US, but Chicago's got it all. You have Cubs, Bears, Blackhawks, Bulls, great sports city. You have the beautiful beach along Lake Michigan, which looks like an ocean when you're on it. If you drive a few minutes north of the city, you have Evanston, which is where Northwestern campus is, which is beautiful. You have Wrigleyville, which is the area around Wrigley Field that's buzzing. Even when there's not a Cubs game, it's awesome to hang out. Many cool areas to live in around Chicago, like River North. You have suburbs of Chicago. And I just love Midwestern people and culture. I think that's what makes Chicago so great, is that the people around you aren't assholes. They're really cool. They're friendly. They're hospitable. They want to welcome you into their house and hang out. And that's just Midwestern charm for you, and it's in my blood after studying at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Number 6 is Tokyo, Japan.
We're gonna do some pull-ups. Actually, no, how we're gonna do it. We're gonna do some wide grip pull-ups, then hammer pull-ups, and then close grip barbells. And basically, there's nothing more that we need. 3 exercises, 5 sets.
Just entered a convenience store with nobody working.
It's gonna be amazing.
There's about 70 cameras on the ceilings.
This is cool. I've taken 11 different trips to Tokyo, even recently a few weeks ago, and I just really like the feeling of walking around Tokyo. Everyone's on time, it's really clean, really safe, maybe the safest city in the world. Yes, people are shy and reserved and they won't really always open up to you if they don't speak English, but it's just people that you enjoy being around. Food is off the chains good. Like, not only Japanese food, like sushi,
Beat me up,
ramen,
Scotty.
not only those meals, but like all food in Japan. So good. I don't understand how a place can be so perfect, but I will say Japan's great outside of Tokyo as well. If you can get out of the city and take a road trip somewhere rural in Japan, it's awesome too. But Tokyo, 10 out of 10. Number 7 is Mexico City.
Get a standing desk, guys. Insane.
Super underrated place in Mexico. It
Insane
breaks my heart
value.
that a lot of tourists, they just go to the beaches in Mexico, like Cancun, like Tulum and Cabo.
The company I
Go
bought the
inland.
desk
That's
from, I'm
where all
gonna
the
ask them
culture
to
is in
work with
Mexico.
me. I
That's
wanna
where all the
sell their
enriching
desk.
experiences are and the tastiest food. Oh my God, that is good. And Mexico City
think
is right in
I
the smack dab center of the country.
Can get a
It's
good
freaking
deal and
awesome.
then
Behind me is the Bay
Because
of
I don't think
Artes,
it's,
which means beautiful arts. It's absolutely
no.
stunning. It makes me feel like I'm back in Europe.
You have cool neighborhoods like
That
Roma
well
and
in
Condesa,
Germany.
which have a lot of the world's top 20 bars.
can be on the
Amazing,
front here.
amazing food, street tacos.
Very good.
And it's very affluent. Mexico has a bad stereotype in the US as being poor or whatever. And sure, many parts of it might be underdeveloped, but Mexico City is awesome. A lot of people speak English.
I was born here in Mexico City and I was raised here, and I've lived here almost all my life.
It's just a cool place to hang out. And it's really a place that you can get lost in the little alleyways and find little markets and get in with the local life. And that's why Mexico City is so awesome. I've only been twice,
imagine
and I
that.
can't freaking wait to get back there. Meanwhile, durian. This is known as the stinkiest fruit in the world. Can't find durian in Thailand. Oh, but they do have my favorite fruit in the world. Before I tell you about city number 8, I have to get longan. Oh my God, this is my favorite. And it's in season right now. Hello, longan. Thank you. You're welcome. You want? Number 8 is Hanoi, Vietnam. A place that I lived with Deanna for 8 months back in 2017. It's where I got started with my whole travel career.
See you next time for $10 in Hanoi.
I realized that a lot of my favorite cities in the world are places that I lived. But that's because I moved there for good reason. They are the coolest cities in the world. Hanoi is no exception. The food is fantastic.
We're gonna get a banh mi sandwich.
Closer to the China border, so there's some more influence from China, which I think is actually really cool, especially because I just traveled mainland China for the last 18 days. It's really cool in that country. Vietnamese pho is fantastic. Bún chả, the pork noodles. Hanoi is super cool because the streets are really narrow and they're all named after what is sold on that street. That's how the whole city was made.
This is the tin street. All the shops here are selling tin or metal things. This is the glasses street. Every shop is glasses. Look, this is the shoe street.
It's cool because you have these old men who smoke tobacco out of these big bongs. You can get lost in the alleyways. Vietnam used to be a French colony, so there's a beautiful French quarter with a really old cathedral. And you have Hon Kiem Lake, which is a beautiful lake to walk around. And Vietnamese people are really friendly and yeah, a little bit shy, but just a super cool vibe out there. Oh, and don't forget to try the egg coffee. Raw eggs in coffee. Sounds disgusting, but it's like a custardy type flavor and it's really freaking tasty.
Totally different than any coffee.
Raw egg in
Lastly,
coffee.
Hanoi is probably in the top 10 cheapest big
Okay, I try.
desirable cities in the world. Number 9, Vancouver,
Tomorrow.
Canada. You know, I first went to Vancouver when I was 18. I remember like being able to legally drink in British Columbia, but I couldn't in the US. All of British Columbia is beautiful. Driving from Banff all the way over, crossing Alberta, and seeing the beautiful nature and terrain of British Columbia is fantastic. But the city of Vancouver, it's really clean. It's just north of Seattle, so it's somewhat similar culturally. It's almost can be seen as like an extension of Seattle, but it's in Canada, which means you have way nicer people, cleaner streets, not so many homeless people, and just a really high quality of life and living. Vancouver has some of the bluest water. It's cold ocean water. It's not like tropical beach water, but it's
Yo,
really
what we can
blue,
do is like
which is a
a
testament to the cleanliness of the city. And the Asian food in Vancouver is so
full day
good.
push day
And as someone
layout,
who eats 90% of his
and then
meals
I
is
can have
Asian
like
food,
my
I gotta
max
say, like Korean,
something on top.
Japanese, Thai, Vietnamese, Chinese. It's pretty bomb in Vancouver. Number 10, Belgrade, Serbia.
Dan and I are taking a lovely stroll here in Belgrade. Really one of the best cities in Europe as far as I'm concerned.
Easily one of the coolest cities in Europe and the world. Used to be the former capital of Yugoslavia. It's a big city in Eastern Europe. Serbian people are cool, outgoing, friendly. They want to have a good time. They want to invite you to their house. They want to drink a beer with you. And they're really proud of their country, which is what I really respect and admire. As a huge sports fan, I also think it's cool that the best tennis player in the world currently and the best basketball player in the world currently are both Serbian, Djokovic and Jokic.
In his fifth Olympic Games, Novak Djokovic. Djokovic wins!
Belgrade is really medieval and cool and way cheaper than Western Europe and even cheaper than Eastern European cities like Prague and Budapest. Belgrade is even cheaper. There's a really cool fortress that you can hike up that intersects
say
where
Europe?
two
Because
big
they
rivers
are not
meet,
in
the
Europe.
Sava and the Danube. And if you like nightlife, Serbians go hard. There's a bunch of like river boats that turn into nightclubs, literally on the water. They drink this stuff called rakia, which is really strong liquor.
That is strong.
And the food is great. Cevapcici, which is this like minced meat. They like their pita breads and their salads of tomato and cucumber. I don't know. I'm about to be back in Belgrade again for like the 8th time, and I can't freaking wait. Number 11, Hong Kong. Man, there's so much to love about this city. I've been exploring here the last few days. It's my 10th time here. And this city really has it all. First off, the view. This is a view of Hong Kong Island from the Kowloon side. You can see it's one of the best skylines in the world. This city gets 34 million visitors a year, which is not surprising because there's so many things to do. It's honestly like Disneyland for tourists. You can come here, you can try some dim sum, which is actually a specialty of Hong Kong. And there are plenty of other amazing dishes here. It's kind of a cool place where East meets West. So you have this like Chinese city, but it's like really westernized with a lot of foreigners.
I'm from Vancouver, BC. I'm Canadian.
And the signs are in English, and a lot of people here can speak English. So that's also really cool.
Canadian,
and it's
eh?
a really vibrant city that always delivers. Number 12 is Amsterdam, one of the best cities in Europe. It's a place that I first went in 2012 on my very first trip to Europe. What I love about Dutch people and culture is that they're so open-minded. They're really sarcastic in their humor, so if they make fun of you, don't take it personally. But I just find them to be really accepting of everyone, and that's one of my biggest attractions towards Amsterdam. Of course, you have amazing nightlife and parties. They love electronic music, having a good time. They love their leisure time. Vondelpark is one of the most beautiful parks in the world. I recommend renting a bike and riding around. And speaking of bikes, everyone in Amsterdam bikes. It's like the craziest setting when you go there and see the bike culture. So rent a bike when you get there to explore, and don't forget the Heineken Museum. If you know me, I'm not a museum guy, but this is actually a cool museum. Number 13, Istanbul, the only city in the world that is split between two continents, Asia and Europe.
Just like that, we've entered Asia. Same city.
I think Turkey overall is fantastic. I always go back. I actually did a huge road trip there during COVID times. I spent weeks in Turkey, and I probably spent 3 total months of my life traveling around the country, which is just beautiful.
Just really feel the magic of the city when you're standing in between Hagia Sophia and the Blue Mosque.
Turkish food is fantastic. Obviously, you have kebabs.
Very good, man.
You have lumpir, which is this baked potato. You have Turkish tea and coffee, which are delicious. And there's just a whole lot of cool things to do. Part of it does feel European and part of it does feel Asian. So it really is stuck in between both continents. It's a pretty affordable place to visit. Things are pretty cheap there.
25. That definitely fits the budget, 25.
And the drivers are crazy. Make sure you don't get in a random taxi driver. You might lose your mind. Number 14 is Los Angeles, California.
Good morning from sunny Los Angeles, California.
A place where I've been hundreds of times. I've actually lived there for a few months as well.
Biking around LA is nothing better than this, I'm telling you.
I think LA's great. It definitely gets a lot of hate for being overrated or being too chill. Cali, bro. I'm gonna run or I'm gonna miss this boat. But the vibes in LA really are fantastic. The weather's always nice year-round. There's beaches everywhere. Like, there's beaches along the whole coast, and they're actually nice beaches.
We just love it out here. It's so beautiful.
Yes, it's pricey, but so is every other big city in America, so I wouldn't let that scare you away from LA. They have a great sports culture.
LeBron James!
And it's also a good jumping off point if you want to do a road trip in Southern California because you have San Diego nearby, Palm Springs, and even Vegas and Phoenix are not that far away. You've seen it in all the movies, Beverly Hills, Hollywood, it's all there in LA, and it really is a special place. Number 15, Dubai. I love Dubai so much, and I'm actually considering moving there with my wife in the next few months. A lot of people hate Dubai because it has no culture. Yes, 90% of all local residents are expats. They're not actually Emiratis from the country. But Dubai is really a melting pot, and you can get any kind of food there. It's a really cool network of young, savvy business professionals who are really smart. Everybody speaks English. And the best part about Dubai is it can connect you to the rest of the world. You're just within a 4-hour flight from like 50 different countries between Europe, Africa, Asia. And it's just a really, really cool place. It does resemble the future. Number 16, Singapore. Perhaps the biggest rival of Hong Kong because of its proximity to each other, and also they're both huge Asian hubs. Singapore really has grown on me over time. My first visit, I was turned off by the heat. It's almost on the equator, and it is like the hottest place I've ever been. I also thought things were quite expensive, and I didn't get the big draw of Singapore compared to other neighboring cities like Kuala Lumpur or Bangkok. However, I will say that Singapore has some of the best restaurants in the world. And there's a lot more to the Singapore story than just a tourist ring. You really have to get in the back alleys of Singapore to find the best hole-in-the-wall restaurants and to find these really cool dive bars that you would not know exist elsewhere. Singapore is so clean that it's actually illegal to chew gum. And it's super safe. If you're caught doing any
Illegal
kind of
to chew
drugs,
gum.
they will give you
That
the
sounds
death
like a
penalty.
place I
It's
want to
that
go to.
strict. Some of my favorite places are Chinatown, to go to hawker centers, which are
So
big
did you just
open-air
breathe?
food markets that you have to visit. Gardens by the Bay is cool, and if you can get to the pool on top of the Marina Bay Sands, you're in for a real treat. Number 17, Taipei, Taiwan. This is really a gem of a city, and the first thing I think about in Taipei are the night markets.
Really good.
As soon as the sun goes down every night, there are dozens of night markets, which are places to get street food, hang out with your friends, have a drink. It's a really, really, really cool atmosphere that I wish was replicated in other places around the world.
If you just dip into the side streets here, you find temples and lanterns, and it's like super traditional.
Taipei is also the home of Din Tai Fung. If you've never heard of that restaurant, it's now a chain around the world. But they invented these soup dumplings. They're called xiaolong bao. They're little pork soup dumplings. They're so good they taste like candy. It's really a shame that Taipei gets overlooked compared to other big cities in Asia, but I promise you that it's really a gem of a place, and it's a lot cheaper than other big cities. And lastly, don't forget to try beef noodle soup. It's the best in Taipei.
The flavor is amazing.
Number 18 is Rome, Italy. As I say, all roads lead to Rome, and it's so true because everything is there.
Oh my God.
Wow, this church is beautiful.
It's such a big city, but it's really a walking city because the whole thing is like a museum. You're walking by all these ancient ruins, the Colosseum, the Parthenon, the Vatican, the list goes on. There's so many historical relics in Rome, more than anywhere else.
Incredible.
And they said so much of it hasn't even been discovered because you still have to excavate way below the ground because the city is kind of built over time in different levels. A lot of people think Rome is famous for pizza. It's really not. It's all about the pasta in Rome. Cacio e pepe is the classic good Roman pasta, but there's so many other kinds to choose from. Thick noodles is better than thin noodles in my opinion.
Man, that is good.
The wine is delicious. And yeah, Romans might not be the
thick
friendliest in
noodle.
Europe, but it's definitely a vibe and I highly recommend a visit. Number 19 is Cape Town, South Africa.
Now I can see why everybody loves this place. Holy crap, look at this view. It is stunning.
Also, what we're gonna do, we're gonna each work out. I'm gonna timestamp when we start, and then we can cut it out for YouTube
It really is the
perfectly.
most magical place on the continent of Africa, and I don't say that lightly because I love Africa. First off, the nature is beautiful. You're covered in all these mountains and beaches everywhere. You could just take a car and go a little bit south of Cape Town to the actual southernmost point of the African continent, and you can find penguins there. Literally, there's penguins in Cape Town. I didn't even know that before I went.
So amazing to see this in South Africa.
There are wineries everywhere in the region. There's golf courses everywhere, like some of the best golf courses I've
So,
ever played.
how am I
And the
gonna do
vibes
this?
are just amazing. I love the people in Cape Town. They're
Because
awesome. Their accents are
you don't
fun to
have any
listen to.
copyright issues and stuff. I'm gonna turn off the
There's really
screen,
cool street markets there. And
activate
it's kinda got
the
this
track for the
grungy vibe
bot
with, like, bars and
to
hipster people.
not
I just think
sound
it's a really cool mix of cultures and
any
it's a place
desktop
that I
sound.
definitely will be back in the near future.
and then when I cut the VOD, I can upload it to YouTube without sound.
All
and then
right,
people
to
can
round
watch
this
the
list of my
workout
top 20
without
favorite cities
sound
in the world,
and play their
I
own
have to
music.
go with New York City.
But most of all, I don't get banned or anything.
The Big Apple. The reason that many people come to the United States of America is to see
Yeah.
the Statue of Liberty, to
Yeah,
go
that's
to
how
a
we're gonna
Yankees
do it.
game.
Hammered in the air. Number 300 for Aaron Judge.
To eat Joe's Pizza, to walk around Times Square, and to feel the history of one of America's oldest and most insane cities. What I really love about New York is that the neighborhoods are all really different, even within Manhattan itself. You could go to the Lower East Side, you can go to the Upper East Side, you can go to Soho, you can go to Chinatown or Little Italy, and all these places are walkable, literally. You're just going like 10 blocks, 20 blocks. It's one of the most diverse cities in the world.
I'm from Pakistan.
I'm from Egypt.
Oh, North Korea.
You can get any kind of cuisine. And I know some of you New Yorkers might not agree with my next statement, but Queens is my favorite borough in New York.
Obrigado! Woo!
You can find any kind of food. It's super underrated. It's not touristy. The Koreatown in Queens is way bigger than the one in Manhattan. And it's just a cool vibe in Queens.
Colombia, Peru, Paraguay, Qatar, Bolivia, Chile, Ecuador, Brazil, Japan, Argentina, Uruguay, Venezuela. Boom!
All right, and now for my 20 least favorite cities. But first, I'm gonna head to the other side of town. All right, number 1, Conakry, Guinea.
We've been walking around for about 10 minutes. We've already been stopped by 2 policemen. The other policeman put us in his car, and they...
First, you need to say that the whole city is insane.
Yeah.
This is by far one of my least favorite places in the world. Not only because when I arrived there was a coup. There were policemen lined up on the streets with big shields and bulletproof vests like war was about to break out.
Got in the car and we drove off, and he ended up going to the next checkpoint ahead, which we're stuck at right now, and he ratted us out. And now our driver, poor Marlon, he has to deal with all this crap. He's negotiating with them.
I'm pretending I'm taking money from you.
Very sick of it. How much did you pay him?
$20.
That's a big bribe.
It's all over West Africa.
Also because the entire city smelled like trash. It was like sewage everywhere. And like, I have a high tolerance for dirty places and I've seen a lot of things around the world, but Conakry was noticeably the worst. People there were not very friendly at all. In fact, I tried to sit down at a restaurant and some dude kicked me out for reasons that I don't know why.
It just feels like this is one of the most unsafe.
And the only kind of pleasant thing to see in Conakry was this mosque, which actually was quite nice.
Shukar. Wow, this is amazing. We're the only ones in here right now. It's crazy.
But other than that, I found nothing going on in the capital of Guinea, and it's probably a place that I will never visit again. Number 2 would be N'Djamena, Chad. Many of you guys heard my story many years ago when I went there and made a video from my experience in Chad.
This place is miserable.
And I actually am going to give it another chance soon. I'm planning to head back to Chad in the next few months. But basically what happened to me was I was caught in a police chase because the motorbike taxi that I went on was a stolen bike. And there was a huge brawl in the street. And then when I took a picture of a kid on the street that I shouldn't do without getting permission from the parents, I was literally attacked. People grabbing my shirt and a guy took out a knife. Thankfully, my local friend stepped in the way.
Oh, fucking animals,
Chad is
dude.
also one of the dustiest places I've ever been. It's one of the hottest places. I just couldn't really jam with anything going on there. If you want to see the full story of what happened to me in Chad, you can check out my channel below. But I will say, I want to go back to Chad. I want to give it a second chance. But I don't want to go to N'Djamena. I want to visit some tribes in the southern part of Chad. They have these really cool tribal marks and body modifications, and hopefully it'll be a better experience next time. Number 3 is Delhi, India. These honking horns are madness.
Would never go to India, never in my ever
Indian
life.
fans out there who live in Delhi,
You sent me there, I die.
Is just not my
Immediately.
favorite. Have you ever seen this?
Look at that.
Don't forget to look up. You'll see the craziest concoction
Poor people
of
there.
tangled wires.
Poor people.
I love India.
I'm not
I've been
discriminating,
7
I'm just
times.
saying.
Definitely will be back again
Hell
soon.
fucking
the
no.
country, which is more like a continent, literally has everything. But Delhi, not so enjoyable. The pollution is terrible. People there are way more aggressive
Look at
than
this.
elsewhere in the countries. Even big
It's
cities
misery,
like Mumbai,
misery.
Hyderabad, Chennai, and Goa, and the traffic is unbearable.
You go there as like a blonde woman, you get raped on the street in daylight.
Touch each other's wheels. Like the wheel will literally touch the bar of the next tuk-tuk. Every day? Every day. Every time I've been to Delhi, which is like 5 times now, I am pinching myself, like when am I going to be able to get out of here? It's a really tough place to travel. Horns! No, it is the gateway to India, especially to northern India, so a lot of people have to pass through. But like even Connaught Place, which is like the nice area of Delhi where a lot of cool restaurants and bars are and hotels, still wasn't my favorite place. Number 4 is Rosso, Dominica. Not Dominican Republic, it's a different country in the Caribbean called Dominica.
So I'm currently posted up in this house for the week.
We actually spent Deanna's 26th birthday in Rosso. I kind of had high hopes because it was my first time doing a big Caribbean trip and it was one of my first destinations in the Caribbean. But I was really, really shocked to find a toothpaste bottle worth $8. And it's not only the price thing, there was one market in town, everything else was really run down and super sketchy. Like we were walking around and basically covering our heads because we just didn't want people to notice that we were tourists, even though we clearly stand out as tourists. Hi. And there was actually another really bad thing that happened to us, which I'm not going to go into detail in this video, but let's just say that Rosso is a place that is not on my list to go back to, and it's among the top 3 worst cities in the Caribbean. Number 5 is Port Moresby, Papua New Guinea. Now, Papua is a cool country in general because there's 860 different cultures there, speaking different languages.
Hello,
You have a lot of indigenous tribes. You actually meet cannibals, which is what I did on Papua Island on the Indonesian side. It's basically just one island altogether. I actually want a coconut water. But Port Moresby is really a different world because it's super dangerous.
People are being warned to stay off the streets of Papua New Guinea's capital following deadly riots in Port Moresby.
Today we call for a state of emergency for 14 days.
The moment I arrived, my local friend picked me up in his car and the windows were completely blacked out, like black. Even the front windshield, there was only a little sliver that you could see through it. And he said, welcome to Port Moresby. If you've ever heard the word rascals, like little rascals or little gangsters, or like a cute word in America for gangsters, the word rascal is actually the criminal gang of Port Moresby. It's a real word and it's a serious issue if you're visiting Port Moresby. The city's very run down, there's not a lot going on, and it's just the overall safety is super sketch. You really have to be careful everywhere you're going. And if you don't know people, it's really just not the safest place to walk around alone. I was seriously scared for my life. How much? 12? Thank you. Number 6 is Port-au-Prince, Haiti.
This whole area is controlled by gangs.
Damn. Oh boy. If you've seen the story I've done in Haiti, where I walk through the biggest slum where the biggest gangs are, it's totally chaos.
Tonight, the nation of Haiti is reeling after the assassination of its president inside his home.
The president was killed and not replaced, so there's no official leading the country. Haiti's been just a downward spiral for the last decade or so, and it's really sad because it's a beautiful place in the Caribbean. When you're flying into the country, you see the views out the window, which are pristine and beautiful white sanded beaches and green ocean water. But then when you get to Port-au-Prince, you just see trash everywhere.
Look at all the chickens in the trash.
The smell of that trash burn
Oh
is
my god.
horrific. Really, really, really violent
Imagine.
people in the streets, like fist fights I saw. And sadly, my local friend that I was with, Sean, my tour guide, he was traveling with another YouTuber named Arab a few months after I left, and both of them got kidnapped by gangsters and had to pay a hefty sum of money to get out.
There is no way that me, myself, will go back to this area any longer.
His eyes were the color of
I
mustard.
really feel bad for the people in Haiti. I visited a lady's home that was completely flooded. When I walked around, she had water above her ankles in her own house.
I'm so sorry.
How can you not feel good for your own life when you see this shit,
Why
man?
don't you want to leave to another house?
God
She would
damn.
love to rent another house, but she doesn't have the need.
It's such a contrast from sharing the same island as Dominican Republic, which is like tourist haven. So hopefully
Horrible.
someday Port-au-Prince will be safe again to visit. But for right now, it's definitely not the time. Number 7 is Dhaka, Bangladesh. Hands down the worst traffic in the world.
It was a good cut.
I'll never forget the picture I took standing on top of this bridge and overlooking Dhaka, and you're seeing total chaos. It's faster to walk the streets than it is to drive them.
Stuck in traffic, not moving anywhere.
I just find India and Sri Lanka and Nepal to be a lot more exciting than Bangladesh. It's just really busy, really crowded, really stinky. Food is not super great. It doesn't mean I'm not going to give Bangladesh another chance. It just means that Dhaka is not my cup of tea. And listen, if you've been there and you loved it, I'd love to hear from you in the comments down below. Please challenge me. This video is based on my own personal travel experiences and nothing else. So please let me know what you think about Dhaka. Number 8 is Georgetown, Guyana, and I'm gonna head into this Kung Fu dim sum restaurant to tell you more about it. One. Here? Thank you. Yeah, green tea. This is going to be an excellent meal. I just hopped in here because it's crowded, and usually crowded restaurants are good. So, Georgetown.
Hey guys, I just got to Guyana.
I went twice. The first time I went there, I remember checking into my hotel and the lady who works there said, don't leave past 7 o'clock. I said, why? She said, it's too dangerous to walk the streets. That really stuck with me because I didn't walk after 7 p.m. and walking around the afternoon the next day, it was super sketch.
You can't stop me.
All the Guyanas are not the most interesting places in the world. That includes French Guyana, Suriname, which is Dutch Guyana, and then English-speaking Guyana, which is just Guyana, which is the one I'm talking about in this video. Most of the country is covered in rainforest, which is cool for nature lovers. Actually, the diversity is really good. It's just, I guess, lack of things to do and just weird vibes. I traveled all around South America, had a great time on this massive 6-month trip, and then I ended in Guyana, and I was quite underwhelmed. Hello? Can I order food? Oh, okay. Sorry. This lady's hacking up a lung next to me. Oh my god, there's too many.
He's got
good
the cove.
options. Okay. Thank you. Number 9 is Chennai, India. Once again, India is a great country full of culture, full of amazing stories and life like I've never seen anywhere else. But some of the big cities in India are just not enjoyable for me, and Chennai is one of them. I'll tell you one experience I had in Chennai. I woke up at 4 a.m. to watch the auction at the fish market, which is the largest fish market in all of South India. Most of the seafood you get in all of South India passes through this fish market. I like to watch the fishermen arriving with all the fish on the boat and the wholesale negotiations happening. And what I saw was literally disgusting. I've been to fish markets all over the world, from South Korea to
You're gonna clean
Japan
my
to
keyboard, it's
Singapore.
dusty as fuck.
Those ones are usually clean and sanitary and they wash the fish. But here, it's opposite. It's chaotic. They just throw the fish on the street. It's dirty, it's grimy. When you walk on the ground, it's a mix of dirt and tar and fish. So the fish were not only next to the barefoot feet, but they were on the street. It makes me not want to eat seafood ever again in India. It was just really, really, really jarring to see that with my own eyes. I don't know, like zero sanitation there. Chennai is also a big, busy city. Nothing that enjoyable for tourism. When I was there, I met a guy who keeps thousands of birds on his rooftop. He's like a bird whisperer, and he feeds them just for his hobby, which is cool. At 4 o'clock, the birds are going to come, which is in 4 minutes. And then the other cool thing about Chennai, 4 hours south, is a place called Pondicherry, where Oroville is.
Welcome to Oroville.
So the street sign is actually the Beatles crossing the road. These are all recycled CDs that are hanging from an umbrella.
Which is like an experimental community with a bunch of hippies that are living there without any money and on their own free time and just doing their hobbies and enjoying life.
I was born in Oroville, yes.
Where are you from? Oroville?
Yeah, I'm from Oroville.
Anyways, Chennai should not be a place to add on your India bucket list. Number 10, Kuwait City, Kuwait.
Man, it is hot.
I don't know. The Gulf is an interesting place. There are many cool places in the Gulf. Kuwait is not one of them for me. It's quite strict. The laws are intense. 99% of women are covering their hair, despite a lot of them not wanting to cover their hair. They're being forced. The first time I went was in December, and like the night market was pretty cool. Like the weather was nice, and I enjoyed walking around Kuwait. The second time I went in July, it was 55 degrees Celsius or like 130 degrees Fahrenheit, and man, it was hot.
I feel like I'm just walking in a sauna right now. I was not expecting this humidity here. This is challenging. Yeah, just dizzy. Get him some water.
Everything is indoors, shopping malls. It's nice, it's luxury. There's like a lot of like cool things.
This is like part of the culture.
Yes, you have to hide from the sun.
Every fast food chain I've seen in the US is in Kuwait randomly, but as far as like personal enjoyment levels, thank you. Compared to other places on the Gulf, like Dubai or Beirut or even Jeddah, I gotta say, it just really falls flat for me. As I'm sitting here really hungry waiting for my dim sum, I'll tell you about number 11, which is Lagos, Nigeria.
Welcome to Lagos!
One of the biggest cities in the world. There's over 100 million people there, and it's growing really, really, really fast. Lagos, it's my fault that I only visited Lagos in Nigeria. I have to go back to visit northern parts of the country like Kano, like Abuja. There's actually some Jewish tribes up in the north of Nigeria, which I want to visit. But Lagos, I actually spent a week in Lagos. I was with my friend who's a YouTuber, Tayo Ina. He's actually a really cool dude.
Let's do it.
Shout out Tayo. Your videos have become really great in recent years since we've seen each other. But I don't know. It's just big, busy, hectic. It's not like I hated it. It's just like a really hectic place, and it's not for the faint-hearted. And if you're not an experienced traveler, you might hate it.
On you. Okay, so they threw baby powder on their faces and on my face, and I think it's for some celebration for like a newborn baby. So, the cars drive so fast. And they don't stop for anyone. Like if you blink or if you lean one way, you're gonna get toppled over by a car.
The nightlife in Lagos is really cool though. Fella's Shrine, which is a really cool place for nightlife. There's a whole beach area with a bunch of like nightclubs on the water and a bunch of like street food.
Okay, I don't know what meat this is. I just kind of grabbed it. Oh man.
Cooking kebabs or drinking palm wine. It's actually a really cool vibe there at night, but I don't know. It's a bit hostile in the afternoon, a lot of traffic, and if you're not with a local, it's not a place that you would enjoy. Number 12, Guayaquil, Ecuador. The most humid place I've ever been, and it's funny because here in Hong Kong, it's also really humid. It's summertime right now. But Guayaquil was the death of me. And I understand, guys, that weather is not the main reason of why you should hate a place. But listen, guys, this is my own personal travel experience, which I've stated several times. Like, this is my own memories of each place I visited. So, yes, I will give every place a second chance, but Guayaquil...
Let's finish watching this and then we can
all of
start.
Latin America. The coolest thing about Guayaquil is its iguana park with this beautiful cathedral inside. There's like huge iguanas walking around, but it was super congested, smelly. It's on the coast, but didn't really find good beaches there. People weren't that...
And then later we're gonna build a frame or layout for the
I
workout.
also got food poisoning in Guayaquil and I had diarrhea for like...
We're gonna go over all the socials,
I figured,
update
oh my God, jumbo shrimp over
the
rice.
stuff, information and stuff.
Number 13, Karachi, Pakistan.
Then
We've just arrived in Pakistan.
gonna make a plan what kind of bots and GPTs we're gonna ride.
Where do I begin?
And we have to finish the design, so that's for today.
Crap. Sorry to interrupt with the food, but dim sum is one of the best meals on this planet. It's so flavorful with every bite. All right, Karachi. So I've only been to Pakistan once. I spent 2.5 weeks road tripping the country with Deanna, my wife, and a bunch of local Pakistani friends. So we had good treatment while we were there. But, you know, just like in India, like other places in the country are great outside the big cities. Karachi is just a big, busy city that's dirty, crowded. People are in a hurry. Less people will come talk to you on the streets. Hello, dude. Hey, how are you doing? Okay, how are you? The moment I left Karachi, Pakistan's in my top 20 favorite countries in the world. But Karachi is just a lot to handle. Like, if you didn't grow up in a place like Karachi, if you're from the Western world or you're from the US or Europe, it's just a lot to take in. Like, there's a lot of intense things. There's a lot of sights and smells that you've never experienced. Food poisoning is a real concern as well, which I had in Pakistan really bad. I will say in Pakistan there's really good biryani, which is a Pakistani rice dish. But
Number one pro tip, guys, if you go anywhere foreign,
you'll be much happier.
do not eat eggs.
Indonesia.
That's how I got almost died, dude.
This is a tough one for me
I got
because
diet.
Indonesia is actually one of my favorite countries in the world. Thank you. Nice to meet you. But Jakarta is just not it. Among top 5 worst traffic cities in the world.
The traffic is like this every day?
Yeah, every day, everywhere.
Barbecue pork buns. This is like a 20 out of 10 meal right now. Like, I almost want to just melt into these bowls. So, back to Jakarta. Terrible traffic. It's not a walkable city. Other cities in Asia are really walkable and enjoyable. Jakarta is not one of them. It's hard to make sense of what's going on because it's so big and busy. And you just got to get to the island of Indonesia. That's the pride and joy of the country. Number 15 is Chisinau, Moldova.
Alright, what kind of music are we gonna listen to?
7 o'clock in the morning. Just got to Chisinau, Moldova.
The least visited country.
I'm gonna have to stop the stream, activate the no music thing, and then we can listen to music while streaming, but on the replay it's not gonna be music.
If you're going for like dark tourism, it's cool. It's like a lot of communism, Soviet time relics and brutalist statues, and it kind of feels like you entered Russia like 30 years ago.
Let's try this one. Sounds stupid.
I don't even know what I ordered. Too much.
Here we go.
Thank you. All right, back to Chisinau. I went there as a young 23-year-old, so that's maybe even part of the problem. I was on a shoestring budget and didn't have any local friends, so get yourself local friends and maybe have a little more budget and you'll have a good time. I got quite lost in the streets, and generally around the world, people are easy to approach and they're, you know, they'll go the extra way to help you out. I didn't find that in Moldova.
Yo, play some follow.
I also got denied a Belarus visa in Moldova, so I was also quite upset. But knowing me and my adult life and what I love about Eastern Europe, I actually want to go back really soon, and I have a feeling I'm going to like it a lot more next time. Number 16 is Douala, Cameroon.
Every day going short.
What? Gunshots there.
I've been indoors the whole of last week. Just stay in your house.
Oh man, I visited Cameroon during a civil war. Which was
It's very hard for me to watch this kind of shit, man.
Oh.
Because I think I have it rough, you know. And then people like this
Douala was in the center of it all.
exist and
I'll never forget walking through the market in Douala and being verbally harassed.
they don't even
by
know the
everyone.
things I know, you know.
Whoa! I was by myself.
All
Actually,
they have to care about is surviving.
really
It's
scared the shit out of me walking through.
on a whole
Douala.
nother
Then the
level.
next day I hired a tour guide.
It's rough,
He scammed
man.
me by like $300. I ended up paying him. Got away from him. I don't know, guys. I don't want to just sit here and share all my bad experiences in Douala. This list is not in order of my least favorite cities, but if I had to actually put it in order, I think Douala would be top 3. And now for the bite of this rice cake thing with barbecue pork inside. Rice cake. What an amazing invention that the Western world just doesn't know about. Cake made of rice. Put some meat inside, and you got yourself a delicious meal. Number
Okay, I'm gonna
17 is Brazzaville, Republic of Congo, not the DRC. Republic of
1.5
Congo.
speed
It's
this
actually
real
right
quick,
across the bridge from
because I
Kinshasa,
do
which
want
is
to
the
see
capital of Congo, the biggest city of
what counties are
DRC.
left. But after this, guys, we're gonna start working out. After this, I'm gonna shut the stream down for just 1 second. Do the option with the sound thing, and then we can listen to sound during stream, but not on the replay. So I can start uploading the workouts as a legit YouTube video. I'm gonna get into like some sort of a
Thought that was kind of a cool cultural thing.
routine of how I'm gonna do this.
Sketchy walk around. This was actually my worst scam in Africa by my tour guide. It was recommended by a friend of a friend, and when I paid him the agreed price, he wanted more. So he came to my hotel and started banging on my door for me to pay more money, which I already paid him what we agreed on, which was way overpriced to begin with. I had to call hotel security, and they came and they had to physically remove the guy from the property, and then I moved rooms because I was scared he was gonna come haunt me at night in my sleep. Number 18 is Manama, Bahrain. Have you found out? Whoa, this is egg yolk in here. That's crazy. Egg yolk, I've never had this before.
Wow, look at this.
Hong Kong is so densely populated that when you go to a restaurant, they sit you at a table right next to people that you don't know. It's funny that you just
you sit next to people that you don't even know.
Right, so
it wouldn't really bother me, honestly.
Famous World Trade Center of Bahrain.
Like Kuwait, I find it to be a really boring place in the Gulf. It's a dry country, you can't drink outside in bars. You have to go to friends' houses or get it on the black market. The coolest thing about Manama is the F1 race, which happens every year. I haven't been, but I heard it's awesome.
So I got me a belt as well
Just no appeal. Like, it's
that I can put on, and we can hang weights.
Number 19 is Kingston, Jamaica.
Jamaica.
Proper weight belt. I'm not gonna use it now. I'm so untrained.
It's one of my favorite countries in the Caribbean, but Kingston,
My own body weight is gonna be enough. Oh, actually, I want to know how much I weigh.
And we're off. Here we go, baby.
But my thing is broken. I have batteries. I need to
It's a cool place, man.
Yeah, man, nice clean place.
just put in new batteries. Should be fine.
Like Jamaican patties, amazing food, coconuts. Right here we
I should be around like over 95 again.
It's almost like you can still taste the Caribbean.
Oh my god, man.
It's absolutely amazing.
Fire.
But Kingston is just really big and busy and really overwhelming to visit. I even stayed in a nice hotel there, and like the moment I walked outside, I was like taken into this warp, and I was just approached by too many people. They all speak English. Hey, my friend, come over here, let me show you my shop. And that's a problem when you have English-speaking countries that are kind of sketchy. Is they all want to sell you weed or cocaine or take you into their shop and essentially scam you. You just gotta watch out for that kind of stuff in Kingston. And last but not least, number 20 of my least favorite cities is Honiara, Solomon Island.
Honiara.
In general, the Pacific Islands is a great region.
Blonde
It's way more
black
enjoyable to be than
people.
the Caribbean Islands. Honiara does have cool World War II artifacts. There were some battles fought there, and there's leftover tanks and weapons and guns.
Wow, look at
Cool
this.
things to see.
Wow,
Honiara,
look at
like
this.
Port Moresby, is really sketchy, and it's not that far from Port Moresby. Walking around with a guide is a must for your safety, so you don't get kidnapped or you don't get mugged. In fact, at the hotel I was staying at, the guy in the lobby that I met had just got mugged the day before and was like, "Don't turn down that corner." And I was like, "Okay, I won't turn down that corner." Honiara is probably not a place that is on your bucket list because it's like not really known to the world. It's just a few hour flight from Brisbane, but like nobody really goes there unless you're from Australia or unless you know about it. But if you are going to go to the Pacific, I much recommend Fiji or Vanuatu, even Tonga over at Solomon Island. Like especially the city there. It's
Oh
just
my god, did you see the
Another city
coast?
is just
Holy
really
shit.
Johannesburg, super sketchy, super dangerous.
That was beautiful.
In Johannesburg, they have guys that are literally criminals that will like dress up to be policemen and they'll flag you over on the freeway and they'll pull you over and they'll pretend like they're going to show you their credentials and give you a ticket, but they'll actually rob you and take your car. That's happened.
Okay, that's enough treadmill.
It's just not enjoyable. Everybody I know who's from there.
And perfect time with the video.
Of course, there are nice rich areas in Johannesburg, but if you want to go to South Africa, go to Cape Town. Oh man, I literally cannot breathe. I'm so full. That was one of the best meals I've had in a long time.
Alright guys,
But hey,
I'm
thank you
back
for watching
in
the
1
video.
second.
I would love to hear from you guys in the comments down below if you agree or disagree with my own personal favorite cities around the world. What would you add to this
And let me
list?
start
What
a
would you take away
workout.
from this list? I can't wait to